This story starts with Donovan, who owns A1 Vacuum and Sewing Machine in Lauderhill. He is my go-to expert on these things as well as air filters. I live in a beautiful place in the Everglades surrounded by nature. However, I'm in a flight path, hence compromised air quality, and I have purchased several large air filters from Donovan. So I called him to ask him if there was such a thing as a tiny little air filter that I could put in my mask, that maybe even battery powered to clean the air. And he said he didn't know about that, but he did know of a retired nurse who's making some really unusual masks out of fleece, which happens to be a moisture barrier. And I had a great conversation with her and learned a lot. Details following. I'm here with Sharon, and she makes some amazing masks with fleece, and she's going to tell us all about them. They seem a lot safer than what's out there right now. Sharon?
It, Thank you, Stephanie, for inviting me. It's something I'm really passionate about. I've done a lot of research into the masks, and that's why I am making masks myself, and that's why I'm making them out of fleece. These are the type of masks that I'm having my family wear and myself wear because I think that they're most protective.
I'm going to ask you, why are you making them out of fleece? Why do you feel that's more protection?
Uh, because of the fact that the material is water resistant, water repellent, moisture repellent in general, and that it's not a woven fabric. When you use a woven fabric, everywhere the two threads come together, you are leaving a little tiny opening for particles to get into.
Uh-huh.
So, in that regard, the fabric is much more protected. Um, Cotton is absorbent, which means that any kind of moisture that is in the air or otherwise can be absorbed by cotton. Because it absorbs, right?
Okay, yeah.
Unless you have a barrier behind the cotton, that absorption it goes all the way through the material to your skin. Um, as you well know, that is the whole reason we wear cotton so comfortably is that
Oh my
it
God.
absorbs the moisture from your skin, and it wicks through to the other side and then it evaporates. Well, but it does the same thing in the opposite direction as well. It's breathable in both directions. So
Uh-huh.
things move through cotton very easily. Um, Moisture moves through cotton very easily. So I don't like cotton for that reason.
That
Um,
makes a lot of sense.
but let me say this: uh, any mask is better than no mask. I would
Even a
prefer that
scarf,
even a scarf,
anything.
anything that covers your nose and your mouth completely is better than no mask. Um, the
Well,
mask that
uh-huh.
the mask that we have, any mask that you wear protects the world from you. The but
Okay.
to protect you from the world is a completely different challenge.
Well, that's very concerning to me. It really
Well,
is.
I don't want to openly concern people, but
As if we
okay,
didn't have enough.
it is the fact that if you are going to wear a mask to protect
Hmm.
you, then the less amount of particles that gets through to you, the better. All right, that
All
is
right,
the
so
whole
you're minimizing.
you yes. Um,
Okay.
that is why they say that even and the best material, it does not matter if
Uh-huh.
you are using the most impermeable material, right? If you have a gap or if you have a way in which air can get into that material on either on the out from the sides, from the
Mm-hmm.
top, from the bottom, right? Then you are pretty much fit is a major issue
Yes,
with
and I
any mask.
see people's masks, they're bulging out the side. It's not even tight to their face. How can it stop anything?
It does not stop anything. That's just it.
Yeah.
It protects the world from them. It does not protect them from the world at all. Um, Even medical personnel will tell you, right, that if
Hmm.
you have a N95 respirator mask that is ill fitting, you have done the same thing as if you had a cotton mask on, or if you had a HEPA mask on,
Wow.
or if you have a fleece mask on, or if you have any mask, any kind of mask other than, even if it's an N95, if it does not fit you well, then you have defeated the purpose of protecting you.
Okay.
You're
So,
doing very well to protect the world, but you have not protected yourself. It may
so
give you peace of mind, but you have not protected yourself.
one of the things you mentioned to me when we spoke last week was how comfortable the fleece is, and you can breathe in and out of it easily. But do you think it's necessary to add a piece of HEPA filter, like a piece of one of Donovan's vacuum cleaner bags, to filter more out? Do you think it's best? I guess in the best of all possible worlds, you'd have both. But
In
do
the
you think, how necessary is it?
in the best possible world, you'd have both. Um, Even that, unless it is fitted to you, the the whole point is that it
The
has to
fit.
be fitted well. The fit is primal, and that is why I have tried my best to design and get the best fit that I possibly can. Now, the
What?
fit
Uh
may
huh.
not be as comfortable as a lot of people would like it to be.
There's
Fleece is
nothing
hot.
comfortable about a mask, period. It's hot. I can't breathe in it. I feel so
Exactly.
claustrophobic. I had no idea. And
Yes.
I put it on open packages because I don't go out. I'm like a real stay
Hmm.
at home person for this. And I said, I better put my packages outside. What if there's some microbes on the packages? Who knows?
Yes. That is. They say that is
It's like,
possible.
ah, I have kind of a science fiction mentality, which is kind of the way the world feels lately for a lot of reasons. But this was just such good data for me. Now, I don't really know much about fleece. I know I ski a little bit, and it's used in um, there's something called a neck warmer, and you pull it up over your face when you're skiing because it's
Yes.
like if it's snowing in your face. And I thought, well, people could use their neck warmers if they have them. But I think most
Yes.
of them are not natural fleece. And don't you think you should use natural fleece rather than polyester?
Um, if you could get it, but
Right.
again,
Well, no,
a lot
right.
of things
Cotton, there's
a lot of things
cotton.
yeah. Again, a lot of things you can't get now.
Right.
Um,
That's true. Good
so
point.
pretty much you need to kind of use what you have. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, if you can get a fleece mask, yes. If you can get a mask that fits really well over your entire face and uh, snugly against your under your cheekbone, and snugly against your all the way back to your ear, um, that is what I personally recommend.
So it
And
sounds like fit is number
and
one.
under
Sorry.
yeah, and under your
Okay.
chin, uh, against your almost directly against your eye, you know, against your cheekbone and back. That whole area needs to be encapsulated if you can. Um,
Right. Okay.
I I watched a doctor um attempt to make her own mask, and her and she found, having the material from the hospital,
Uh-huh.
she made a medical grade mask, but she tested it, and what she tested was that it was the fit. It wasn't so much the material. She had the material that she needed, that she thought would make a very, very protective mask, but the fit was her main concern, because
Okay.
even with the N95s that they have, which they sometimes run out of, unless the fit is adequate, then they have a problem.
Okay.
And they know it, and this is how they get exposed, because otherwise, why would we be hearing of doctors and nurses and orderlies and people being exposed? We are trained. I'm a retired nurse. 30 years ICU. So I have worn those masks. And why would you be hearing of them if they're unless they're breaking protocol someplace? They know how
Okay.
serious it is. They are
Yes.
not they are not breaking protocol.
And
The only
they don't have fresh gear either. They're
uh,
having to wear things more than once, and that you
yeah,
didn't have that, right? You had everything
no,
fresh.
no, that you're supposed to have everything fresh. Those masks are meant to be taken off and thrown away because the outside of that mask is contaminated,
Oh.
right? And they know that the outside of that mask is contaminated.
And how can they
Um,
even touch it? They can't even touch it. They have to take it off, take their gloves off and sterilize everything. So you,
exactly.
so you throw it in like a bath? How do you do that? What's the best way to
They they
sterilize? Maybe that you could tell
they
me that. I'm
they,
not
they
sure.
they can't sterilize them. They're meant to be thrown away. They are now that is why they are going through so many.
Oh
They
my
are
God. Yes.
hoping to come up with a way of sterilizing them. They have two, I think there's only three in the country, um, chambers in which they have figured out how to they where they can hang the used masks and sterilize them in that. That is not available to everybody,
Whoa.
because the fact is that you're supposed to wear them and they were made to be worn and disposed of. They were not made to be reused. No, they're having to reuse them. So it is in that process where they're getting contaminated, is in
Yeah.
trying to reuse them,
Yes.
and or if they do not have the appropriate fit, that is the other time in which they would get
That would it would be a
contaminated.
breach. It would be a breach and they would get
It's
the
a breach.
infection. So it
Exactly.
sounds like fit, whether it's contaminated or not, are the two biggest issues. And
Yes. Fit.
then comes material.
Yes.
But I think for personal use, fleece is a wonderful solution. And
I believe it is. Um,
yeah, I
personal
read that
use.
it has antimicrobial effects, like the microbes
Yeah.
don't pass through it, which is like
Yeah. Yeah.
perfect.
And as you said, if if you are doing that and social distancing, it means that you have a good level of protection. It's not the absolute best, but you have a good level of protection.
And you're
I
helping
do,
flatten the curve.
and
We
you're
have to
helping
flatten the
flatten.
curve. That makes such a big difference.